Welcome to Flip Your Script, the vodcast from the American College of Lifestyle Medicine that's all about clinicians redefining care through lifestyle medicine. My name is Dr. Padmaja Patel, and I'm the current president of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. I'm board certified in internal medicine and lifestyle medicine and serve as the Chief Medical Officer of Nudge Health. Each episode delivers 5 key takeaways from leading experts, innovators, and practitioners on how lifestyle medicine is reshaping the future of healthcare. Through practical strategies and real-world success stories, we empower you to make a lasting impact in your practice, in your organization, and beyond. In this episode, we're honored to be joined by Dr. Colin and Dr. Melissa Mondala. Dr. Colin is double board certified in family practice and lifestyle medicine, driven by his passion for the intersection of medicine, food, and nutrition. He trained as a plant-based chef and health coach at the Natural Gourmet Institute for Health and Culinary Arts and Institute for Integrative Nutrition, respectively. Having worked in general practice, he quickly observed the inefficiencies of the modern healthcare system. Therefore, in 2017, he launched the Chef Doc, an online wellness and lifestyle education platform that has now been featured in several publications to impact the general public more broadly and deeply. Dr. Zhu's main mission is to help connect the dots between individual wellness, community, and environmental sustainability, and how our life choices create a dynamic ripple effect. Dr. Melissa Mondala is double board certified in family medicine and lifestyle medicine and also specializes in integrative psychiatry. Driven by her passion for the intersection of lifestyle, nutrition, and mental well-being, she co-founded Dr. Lifestyle Clinic, a practice designed to restore the doctor-patient relationship and support long-lasting, sustainable health changes. Her mission is to empower patients to adopt a lifestyle-focused approach that improves energy, mood, and overall health while creating a positive ripple effect for families, communities, and future generations. Welcome, guys. How are you doing today?
Doing great, thank you.
Doing excellent. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. What a pleasure to have both of you join us today for this conversation. So let me start our conversation asking both of you, first of all, what first sparked your interest in lifestyle medicine, and how did the journey eventually lead you into the world of culinary medicine?
Ladies first.
Thank you. I think, for me, I was actually someone with chronic disease myself. I had GERD, IBS, acne, and just in my upbringing, I thought I ate healthy, to be honest. I knew what oatmeal was and brown rice, but I was searching for more answers. I was in my family medicine training at Loma Linda University, and it's one of the blue zones there. And I saw people living and thriving in their 60s, 80s, 90s, 100, right? And that was just so foreign to me. And knowing that someone can do that with an active lifestyle, they were eating well, all these plant-based rich foods on every meal. It wasn't just like once a week or on the weekends, and to see that come to life, to reverse chronic disease in their lives. I tried it for myself, and that's when I started to feel better. I started to have more energy, vitality. I became symptom-free, and studying that at in the Lifestyle Medicine Forum at Loma Linda, but also at the ACLM conferences, which we do love, it was an immersion experience for me. So when you see it, you can't unsee it, and it really was a place where I learn to grow, thrive, and try my own, I would say, recipes. Of course, I love all our trailblazers in lifestyle medicine, looking at Dean Ornish studies and Colin Campbell, and I tried all those recipes myself. And when I saw that it can be flavorful, it can actually make me feel better and my patients better, I knew that there was no turning back and there was no dead I would say no dead end in medicine anymore because people actually started to reverse their chronic diseases in my practice at Loma Linda and then in my own personal practice. So to me, getting all the flavor, the delicious aromas, it was really therapeutic for me. And it's a connection that I see with them. And then they're able to implement it in their daily lifestyle.
Yeah, well, that's always powerful when you personally experience all the benefits, and then that becomes your sort of motivation to inspire others. So, Colin, what is your story?
So yeah, thank you, number one, for having us on. My story starts always with my mother. She's a traditional Chinese medical doctor, so I grew up under her wing in her office over many years, and understanding of how she works and how she treats a patient. So Eastern medicine, traditional Chinese medicine on a whole is very preventative and it's very holistic manner. She also taught me the values of compassion, integrity, and authenticity. So I wanted to go into Western conventional medicine, and like everyone else, quickly realized after following a lot of my predecessors, my mentors, who are brilliant clinicians, no matter who walked through our door, whether it's a reason for a visit of cough or low back pain, they always had some sort of chronic lifestyle related risk factor to them: high blood pressure, diabetes, extra weight, things like that. And then I quickly realized that, oh, why am I not prepared enough? Why did my school at the time did not give me enough tools to be able to help with seemingly a onslaught of chronic disease burden that most of Americans face? And so I chose, and I graduated off cycle, and I wanted to make a lot of detours, and I wanted to learn more beyond just nutrition. So I enrolled myself into culinary school, like you mentioned before, and into health coaching. And so there I was able to understand where food came from and all the different steps in between before it arrives on your plate, and what are the hidden costs associated with each one. And so since then, after I complete training, I just use that education to enhance what I do today.
All right, Colin. So, we often talk about knowing what to eat versus actually doing it. So, how does culinary medicine help bridge that gap between nutrition knowledge and the real world everyday practice?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So, for those in the audience that do not know what culinary medicine is a very evidence-based field that brings the science of nutrition and blending that and combining that with the culinary arts. And the combination of the two is used to optimize one's health in conjunction whenever appropriate medical care is used as well. And I think this is great because it's a very hands-on, very practical means of being able to educate. I like to say that cooking in the kitchen, you're really engaging all five senses, and you have to engage all five senses to not burn something, to smell when something is right or not, to test out
Right.
your palate, to visualize whether something is cooking right versus whether it's on fire. You have to be able to use all five senses, especially in a very post-COVID era where everything is a screen. And so not only do you have that aspect, but I deem it as a essential survival skill because
Hmm.
diet is the top contributing factor to our morbidity and mortality, right? It is estimated that up to 11 million deaths could be prevented a year. That figure is actually higher from the second Eat Lancet report. It's up to 15 million deaths that can be preventable. 60% of Americans have one chronic disease, 40% two or more. So it is a overwhelming, prevalent, and ubiquitous fact that we need to change something about our diet. But it's not just talking about it. We have to be able to showcase it, demonstrate it, and so people can learn the skills so they could go back to their own families, communities to be able to create that ripple effect.
Right. Well said. So, Melissa, from your experience, what are some of the most common barriers, both for patients and even for healthcare professionals, especially when it comes to putting culinary medicine into practice?
Right. Thank you for asking that and for Dr. Colin to just elaborate on what is culinary medicine, because most of the time patients don't even know what culinary medicine is and can be very intimidating for them. And often they may just know what food is based on what their family has taught them, culture, or even television. And it can be something where they think they have to get a thick cookbook or go to school for it. But something just basic things like knowing how to, we always like to talk about knife skills, cutting, your fruits and vegetables or washing it, how to prepare it. I've worked in an FQHC and some people don't even know what a blueberry is or what a salad is. So how to prepare some basic, I would say, recipes is essential. And most of the common barriers are going to be time and resources.
Yeah.
So when it comes to patients, they think most of the time they don't have energy at most, right? Sometimes they're fatigued, they have all these medications, they have chronic conditions. So adding another task to do will really serve in their mindset as a barrier, but actually helping them to understand how that can be a place of healing, reversal. It's actually a culinary prescription or a tailored, medically informed, I would say, way for them to have these meals. And if it's a delivery system that offers this, or is it something that they can get at their farmer's market? So creating different avenues to bring the cooking experience realistic and sustainable for them is really important. And finding easy, quick meals, 5 ingredients, if 10 to
Hmm.
15-minute meals so that they can incorporate it one recipe at a time, one week at a time. And then with resources for providers, often providers go in and they don't know where to begin because it's usually not funded by their health care institution. And they think they may have to apply for grants, but we forget they may have already some basic supplies. People have like their own workplace, I would say, potlucks. They may already have their kitchens. They may already even have their get-togethers in their homes. And so being able to deliver and have either demos or be able to bring some items that are health and plant forward can bring this to life for the providers for their own well-being, but also for their own patients. So really living it out loud, practicing what you preach as a provider is going to go a long, long way. And then, of course, there's so many resources available online and through ACLM, which we'll talk about at the end.
Wonderful. Yeah, so Colin, food is deeply personal and cultural, right? We all know that. So how can clinicians lead with cultural humility while teaching nutrition and cooking skills in a way that truly resonates with patients?
It's an excellent question. Part of my curriculum when I went to culinary school was we had to fulfill an internship. And
Mhm.
so I was lucky to go into an Indian restaurant that was a one Michelin star. And I remember them using tandoors to cook, naan in, and that
Yeah.
process was just mind-blowing to me. So to answer your question, I think it's super, super important to understand the cultural context for
Mm.
your patients and demographics because it matters. Representation matters. And so I think, if I think it's a good idea to be a foodie yourself and to
Mm.
try different types of traditional and cultural foods so you have an idea. Even better is actually you go to someone's home and cook with them, right? But understanding the cultural context matter. I bring up a tandoor in order to cook naan. Uh, I've seen I had a good friend that's also South Asian. They would use tawas to make, rotis, right? In Mexican cuisines, you use a molcajete, for salsa and to make guacamole with, right? It's a mortar and pestle. And Cantonese cooking, I'm Cantonese, we would use a lot of clay pots, to be able to make stews and long duration cooking. So the culture aspect is very important. I suggest that practitioners do a little bit of deep dive, and honestly, your patient would really benefit giving them simple, easy to use recipes and making sure that they are not straying too far away from their cultural customs and traditions, but still feel included and not feel ostracized, from other family members and friends as well. So learning more about it and just going to that extra step.
Yeah, well said. So, Melissa, looking at the evidence, what strategies in culinary medicine are supported by research, and how do they translate into better patient outcomes and greater provider satisfaction?
Yes, thank you. This is really important because really often we want to see if does it impact health outcomes and save costs. And if we just look at the early research, there's studies as early as the early 2000s, just trying to define what culinary medicine is. As Colin was saying, yes, it's a blend of cooking and also the arts, but now it's really evolved in the 2020, there's a 2025 study that actually says it's social, it's environmental, it's actually behavioral, and there's so many I would say techniques and even evidence to support that. Early research has shown it in more of their even cardiovascular conditions and reducing diabetes risk. It's specifically blood sugar regulation and also even looking at pilot studies. There was one in the cancer reduction, and most of the time they do this in medical schools because we know that there's a deep, I would say, deficiency in medical training, even undergraduate training. So they having a curriculum that you can do a pre and post test on their knowledge and their self-confidence and how it impacts their own patients in the internship or in residency shows that patient satisfaction and provider satisfaction. And so when I was at Loma Linda, I just had a lot of fun because they had a beautiful teaching kitchen, and I taught the Prev Med residents and the family medicine residents some of the cooking that we just love to learn in the cookbooks, but also in the literature. And people and the patients all participated and they loved to taste it. They loved to smell it. They brought it home and we got feedback and we really had an experience which was really the translation of what we learn in the textbooks, but making it come to life. And then more and more medical schools reached out to me. There was Western and other local medical schools and communities. So I encourage providers to get involved in your undergraduate studies, if it's your local college, your medical schools around you, and even your YMCAs. There's so many people in the community wanting cooking demos or an experience. And I often see that Veg Fest, or even the most recent would be people who are trying to have your children's, a lot of people are parents and they want the parents to come and show and tell. And so a show and tell is usually let's bring an item that really speaks to their culture, their belief system, and a food item and their recipe is really something where it can bring change one's perspective from one generation to the next. So that's the exciting part.
Yeah, that's powerful. So let me ask both of you, for clinicians who are really intrigued and interested and would like to get started, or what practical resources and pathways are available for them to integrate this culinary medicine practice into their regular day-to-day office practice?
Yeah, great question. So, if you're a member of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, and if you're not, I suggest you join today. There's a great culinary medicine curriculum that just been updated, the second edition. Probably what last month it got updated, and it is a treasure trove of resources, not just an updated curriculum, but also videos attached to it. And uh, Melissa is the current chair of the Food as Medicine, Culinary Medicine member interest group, which got started not too long ago, less than 3 years ago. And it is 4.6 thousand, right?
Wow.
4.6 members.
Amazing.
And it's a great resource in terms of, I'll let her expand on it, but it's a great resource for just community networking. And I would say on the practical side is you don't have to go to school. I get this question a lot is,
Mhm.
do I have to go to culinary school or do I have to take X, Y, and Z? Honestly, it's really being about introspectively looking at what are you comfortable with? Like nice skills is very important. So if you can find a local culinary school, just take a couple of classes if they offer public schools and just take a couple of classes. I think just the first step of being immersed into the kitchen will give you an idea of which next step to go. You don't have to go to culinary school. The point is to show up and to actually cook for yourself. And patients would already appreciate it because you've already put on that demonstration or workshop in the community.
Right. I think that's where it comes to life, really, as a practitioner, is getting your feet wet and seeing that ACLM has tons of resources. And, there's connect pages out there, not just in our MIG, Food is Medicine, but a lot of people do share their clinic resources, if it's their recipes, if there's virtual kitchen, I would say experience, all the go-to steps, the prep materials. Some people are releasing cookbooks. Like there's just an amazing blend of things, of really of what is possible and sharing a collective amount of resources. And I think Colin for just we have all these Excel sheets, right? And it's just organized and across the nation where you can get culinary medicine classes, certificates, teaching kitchens, even people who need access to food banks and or any type of kitchen to bring more experience to themselves or invite them for patient experiences. So I think it's really abundant as long as we come together and we find that online or at the conference. And you'll see that one of the studies I just really like to embrace is that with cardiologists, they're like our colleagues and they're fighting heart disease. And 90% of them wish they knew more nutrition. So they know that there's a deficiency. And then 95% of them are interested in studying more about nutrition. So it's such a powerful thing when we get food as medicine and really bring those resources. And really you can go in and share and collaborate within the MIG. And we really find that that community is the answer. Really, we need each other to build those relationships, to give the experience of potluck and feedback, and we can thrive together.
Yeah, thank you for sharing those valuable resources and information. So, in closing remarks, I want to ask both of you briefly. So, looking ahead, what gives you the most hope about the future of culinary medicine? And what role do you see clinicians playing in that future?
Yeah, great question. I would probably say, I've been very fortunate enough to have ACLM invite me to be one of the panelists and give this year's keynote. And by the reception of the audience members live and also virtually, which last time I checked is about 4,700 views from that
Wow.
keynote alone, it just shows you how much it's in demand.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that demand, hungry for change, will be an exponential growth to it. And so we need all the tools, we need all the networking, we need all the collaboration as much as possible, because like I said before, the onslaught of chronic disease is like a tidal wave.
Right.
And, food has linkages to climate change, right? If I'm using tidal wave as a proverbial or a literal, analogy, it's real. And so we have to be able to work together, like Melissa said, and by doing it together, then that's how we're able to move the needle. There's a reason why the word we is in wellness, because we need
Mm-hmm.
each other.
Yep. Melissa, would you like to add anything?
Yes, I think it's so essential. The time is now. I know for Food is Medicine, we had this curriculum in ACLM for a long time. We went to Capitol Hill. It's been, over a decade. We've been really trying to move mountains and get nutritional changes in the guidelines to happen. And to see at the ACLM conference, all the medical societies just come in unity, right? We had great AMA, ACOG, and just APA, the Psychiatry Association, just everyone coming together at all specialties, primary care going strong, and seeing that this is an alignment towards chronic disease reversal, treatment, and prevention is powerful. And it's really history making. I think it just excites us because we have so much momentum. And culinary medicine in itself it's the most relatable thing. Everyone has to eat, everyone needs to get the resources. They go grocery shopping, they want to learn how to experience food, cook, or teach to their kids and patients. It's one of those things that it's a common table. We're all welcome at this table, and we can all be in a place of connection and access. And really, it takes away all the generational gaps, the deficiencies, the social economic deficiencies, and all the iniquities, and really brings a place of we can come hand in hand, and we can start with beans and rice at the lowest cost, and then add the extra extra herbs and spices to make it culturally relevant, tasty, and then also see that it's actually something we can follow in the numbers. So I'm excited for the research. I'm excited for the cost savings. I'm excited to see all the medical guidelines just really shift towards something that's lifelong and to impact at the policy level. So it's going to be great for the next decade.
Thank you. Well, powerful. I really enjoyed our conversation. While we're out of time, I really appreciate your engagement and sharing your passion and expertise with us. It's been a true pleasure having both of you join us today. Thank you to our audience for tuning into this episode of Flip Your Script. We hope today's conversation has inspired you with practical insights on how lifestyle medicine is shaping the future of patient care. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Stay connected with us for more episodes featuring healthcare leaders and clinicians who are rewriting the script on health, one patient at a time. Until next time, take action, make an impact, and keep flipping the script on healthcare. Thank you.